The year is 1995 and you already ate your stuffed crust pizza and watched the movie adaptation of Casper, so now it's time to pick out a video game to rent for the weekend. Let's see what the hottest rentals were in 1995 when it comes to Super Nintendo games. This list is a fun one for me because a lot of these were a part of my childhood and a lot of these were developed by Rare. I wouldn't be too mad being stuck playing any of these. Well, for the most part. So let's get into it. Killer Instinct. The first violent video game I ever played because it came with my Super Nintendo console. Yep, I had the bundle pack. I remember my mom asking the Toys R Us employee if they had any other bundles because she was reluctant to let me play it, but she eventually gave in. I was never any good at this game, but I've always had fun with it, and Spinal was my go-to dude. Killer Instinct was developed by Rare and first made an appearance as an arcade game in 1994 before being ported to the SNES and even the Game Boy. Yes, if you were desperate enough, you could even play this on the go. I'm getting flashbacks to playing Street Fighter II on the Game Boy as a kid. Not good. So I never bothered to wonder about the storyline until now, but here it is. Way in the future, an evil corporation called Ultratech holds fighting tournaments that feature experimental warriors and even alternate dimensions. Maybe in the future, Amazon will have something like this going on. The game is even enjoyable if you're someone like me who cannot do combos or pull off super cool fatalities if their life depended on it. I just can't remember all the button combinations. I'm sorry. It's often referred to as one of the greatest fighting games of all time, and it's easy to see why. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There were so many Power Rangers games released during this time because it was the height of Power Rangers mania. Being a kid during this time was awesome, and Kimberly was my hero. Amy Jo Johnson was the best. Remember Suzy Q on the Disney Channel? Anyone? This game was developed by Natsumi and released in 1994. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you can choose to play as any of the 5 Power Rangers, and it even features some monsters from the show. It may not be anything super special, but it's a fun game with smooth controls and awesome music. I like that after every stage, you can switch Power Rangers. Sure, it can get repetitive, like any other beat-em-up, but I somehow don't find myself getting too burnt out on this one. I recommend it, especially if you're a fan of the Power Rangers franchise. Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is based on the movie featuring Sylvester Stallone that was also released in 1995, and it's an action platformer that I have not played until I made this video. So this is like a first impression. It was also released on the Genesis, Game Gear, and Game Boy. You play as Judge Dredd and you shoot guys, arrest guys, determine if they're guilty or not, pick up items, and climb up and down ropes to get to other areas in the level. I don't know what they really are, but I'm calling them ropes for the sake of this video. I guess due to the color palette, at first I had a hard time distinguishing where you can climb down to the next platform. But that could just be me. I don't know, I found the level design to be a bit odd. Do any of you guys like this game? Let me know in the comments. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. NBA Jam Tournament Edition is the follow-up to Midway's arcade classic, and you can choose from many of the popular players from the 1994 to 1995 season. It's 2-on-2 arcade basketball that features a lot of crazy maneuvers, wonderfully dated catchphrases, and an overall ridiculously 90s vibe. I mean, check out the commercial for it. And lastly, we have Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 that were both top rentals in 1995. I'm not really sure what to even say about these games that you don't already know or feel, because they are both pretty iconic and considered some of the best games of all time. The first Donkey Kong Country game was released in 1994 and is loved for its groundbreaking graphics for the time, with its pre-rendered 3D imagery. It also had an iconic soundtrack, and of course, it's a super fun game to play. You can play as Donkey Kong or his nephew, Diddy Kong, and can play by yourself or with a friend. Although you never really feel like you're playing by yourself because you always have Diddy with you. Well, mostly. The game helped Nintendo maintain the Super Nintendo's popularity since around this time, people were already moving to disc-based consoles. Nintendo was able to prove that the Super Nintendo still had a lot to offer when they released its follow-up in 1995, Donkey Kong Country 2: Diddy Kong's Quest. Despite not owning the first game as a kid, I did own this one and I loved it. In this game, you play as Diddy Kong with your friend Dixie Kong, and you need to rescue Donkey Kong from King K. Rool. I had a lot of fun playing as Dixie Kong and whipping my ponytail around. The music in both of these games are fantastic and memorable. I'd argue that Aquatic Ambience from the first game is one of the most popular video game tracks ever. I also love the atmospherics in this game, both audible and visual. Like the crickets chirping in the rain in the first game, or the foggy pirate ship in the second one. The soundtracks and overall vibe of these just give me a really nice sense of calm. So there you have it, the top 6 most rented Super Nintendo games at Blockbuster during 1995. That was a really good year, wasn't it? Or maybe that's just my nostalgia glasses talking. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again soon. Bye!